Good morning! So it is like 9 o'clock right now. We took a half an hour drive to somewhere because we're gonna do a cheese and Parma tour, Parma ham tour. We're super excited about it because we're gonna eat all the cheese.
First of all, for the quality of what they make, and secondly, because the big groups are not coming.
We're factory ready!
Versetto leve, because they teach each. Now see, they got washed.
What are they washed in? Water?
Yeah, it's water, simply water, because they want to keep it wet. On the other side, there is a guy now wrapping the cheese, bench, and they are mixing with another kind of milk, all with the cow's milk. But since you mix the cow's milk,
When they stir, it will come in.
yeah.
So all the cheese making happens here, from the milk being poured in from the truck to the big barrels here, and then they add in the two ingredients, which is the rennet and what else do they add in? Rennet and
Some enzyme.
some enzymes, and then they stir it, and then they let it set, and they whisk it, and they boil it, and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of work, but it's so cool. And fun fact, they never actually clean these giant bowls with soap or anything like that, so no chemicals at all. They clean it with rennet again, so cleaning it with more bacteria. That is 100 kilograms of cheese. What? Through.
Cheese, this is the brand new, made there, stays in a plastic collar for 1 day, and later 2 days in there. It's the metal frame. The rest is identical. What you need to change are the date.
This is a brine.
Correct. It is a brine, a solution which is kept saturated.
We have arrived at Parmigiano Reggiano heaven.
Wow.
And I
Oh my lord.
Fate televisione. Questo. La crosta.
Guys, there are 20,000 wheels here, which is worth how many million?
Plus euro.
10 million euros.
10 million euros. We're walking in cash.
Inside the machine there are brushes, cleaning the wheel perfectly, flipping the wheel back in the same position. This is the tool used by the expert, and not taking a wheel out of the shells because they are a little bit slippery, but they do this on the table. You see that around the table over there, and they do exactly this. But first, let me explain what is this. We saw there the date written down. On the other side of the wheel, they stick this label. This is the identity card, carta d'identità of the wheel.
And they can scan it.
Correct. QR code and the progressive number. It's needed for this. You don't need to taste it. You don't need to order anything. You work like a doctor. You tap the wheel and you pay attention to the sound and the bouncing. What they're searching for are possible defects. I difetti sono buchi, crack delle forme, hollow of a pocket or bubble. So if you have a consistent sound, a consistent bouncing, you're fine.
So we've come to the tasting section. So this is the World Cheese Award. This one won the Gold Award, which is this cheese over here. And this is the same cheese, but, oh no, so aged the same time, but with different kind of milk. So the one with the award was the cows were fed with flax seeds, and the other one was just hay.
Where do you think that sharpness is from?
Comes from the fact that it's not salt, because we know there is sorbitol, so cannot be salt.
These white
Those
dots.
are actually amino acids. As I said, during the aging process, there is something else happening. That is the breaking the proteins in 3 chains of amino acids.
Shopping time! Yay! This is what we spend our money on, not Gucci.
I'm skipping one step because Umberto, he told me that in a little time they will be finishing this process. So we have got the big pieces now. There is not the amazing.
It's freezing.
Those in front of you, they've been sorted yesterday, are more or less a month of age.
Whoa!
Oh yeah, absolutely. Elevator.
Prosciutto elevator. It's very clean for a prosciutto elevator.
Yeah, they do cleaning always. And sanitation on Saturday morning. You have to.
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
sure
to
they
do.
get inspected and everything.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, look.
We're gonna be cured.
Look at this. We're in the prosciutto room.
Wow.
They should.
This is insane.
Is there a date?
Oh my god.
Same as the...
I'll show you because
Guys,
that's
welcome
what
to the
temperature- I believe
never-ending
the temperature
room of
Friday,
prosciutto.
Would be the
Take a look. Prosciutto everywhere. Like, if you can look inside, look, it doesn't end.
And they have no word for it.
Yeah.
In their language. They don't have a word for wasps. 50,000 people. That's it.
Those are shoulder.
Ok, adesso
Spalle.
sono le spalle. Ecco
Questo
questo.
qui, there is only one bone. This is the
Questa è la
scapula.
spalletta.
The scapula.
Voglio
The scapula.
So, the prosciuttos in here have been upstairs for 4 months and then only brought down here. So, they've been cured for more than 4 months when they come down.
You can compare to the Spanish. First of all, you need to see that rivet. That is the beginning. When they start salting the salting process, the first day, with a pistol, they stack that. That comes from the consortium. You read the CPP, Consorzio Prosciutto Parma, month and year, when you start.
No, close.
If you magnify that,
So
you
when
can
I
read
go
it.
there, that's what I
Find on one side PP, Prosciutto Parma. Somewhere is always there, PP. The other tattoos, there are black tattoos, etc., are not important because those are the big farm, slaughterhouse, every step. So the story of the animal and the prosciutto is stamped on the skin. What is important to you is, at this point, the shape. Look at those, are very regular, more or less the same size, rounded because they've been trimmed twice. We call this a pear shape. Not a guitar like a harmony barico, which is the entire length. Fatty, always, with a lot of fat. We wouldn't see any skinny prosciutto di Parma, it's impossible. Always with a lot of fat, which is good fat, subcutaneous, not the visceral, the visceral one, which is bad for us. And finally, not yet, you get branded 2 crowns in front. I showed you them downstairs. The 2 crowns of Parma are the end of the process, which means they've been tested officially. There is one final thing, and those are part of the different steps. I don't know who is this. It's Cyril.
So that's a 9, that's an 8.
There is one final thing. Have a look at the top over there. It's a joke.
I was noticing.
It looks like a face.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a fish. So the people say that prosciutto di Parma has got either a chicken head or a fish head.
I see like a chicken.
When you cover that with that mixture, you're softening the external layer and keeping moist. In that way, the prosciutto can go up to the end of the process. Now, is the last thing you have to do, covering that.
So
Now,
if you don't do that, it won't keep drying.
it becomes
it'll keep
extremely dry, but the problem is
Yeah.
the external layer is a barrier.
So that thing
The
is
internal
mixed
layer
with
doesn't
the
go-
fat,
doesn't continue
pepper,
well.
and rice
So
flour.
you don't get. It's here, yeah, correct. A fibula, this, believe me, in a multi-billion business, this is the most important tool. Not scientific at all, but this has been used for more than 2 centuries. It's the only one. They're using a fibula, they're sharpening the point, and they're sticking the prosciutto, which means sticking in 5 points, not much, something like that, in order not to ruin the meat. First is there, and you sniff it. That's the smell, giving you all the information you need. Second point is between the 2 bones. We know why. We got the main artery, and we are sniffing that. External vein.
You want to make sure all the blood dried out.
Correct. When you check that in fine points, you're smelling always a beautiful, sweet, typical smell of the prosciutto. You got the crowns. Your prosciutto becomes a prosciutto di Parma now, officially. H46 is the code of this family.
Take a bite?
Okay? Okay.
You have to rate the wines with the food. What did you like the most, or whatever. So that was. So we had a strong earthquake. It's been restored beautifully. So, but you're right in the sense it's not the old Middle Ages.
Took a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive for lunch with a view, but unfortunately it's so foggy because it's raining.
Correct. And they are actually harvesting somewhere.
Wow, so this is what we're having for lunch, fresh from the forest, from the farm. Peppers eat first. Fresh pasta with the porcini from the forest. Fresh pasta is so good. Gnocchi.
Gnocchi piccolo. It's a kind of potatoes.
It's blue
potatoes.
And is pancetta small?
Blue potatoes with some greens and ham and a cheese. The gnocchi is so different from every gnocchi I've ever had. It's so soft and sweet, yeah. Apparently the best tiramisu that he has tried in his life. And I know he's really excited because he's been talking about getting tiramisu all the time.
Especially when it comes to guns.
Yeah. You know what they say about the Canadians because I had a lot of Canadians in my tour.
Yeah.
La domenica com'è? Siete...
Third and final stop of the tour today, we are gonna taste some balsamic vinegar. Hello.
Yep.
This is strong.
I don't mind.
You age longer, like you remember the 2 bottles we saw at the cheese factory? One was 5 years old and more or less the same the other, and that's becoming way better. Still, the product remains liquid unless you add something else. You can keep it there for 50 years, it doesn't become thick. You have to add something. In the balsamic vinegar modern, the cheap stuff, they add sugar, caramel, mostly. That's the trick. Instead, the natural way and the traditional way would be adding grape juice being cooked. That is the secret. Cooking the grape juice, mosto cotto in Italian, vino cotto, or cooked must in English, was already done at the time of the Roman Empire. The Romans didn't have any sugar. Nobody knew anything about that. Honey couldn't be produced in vast quantities, but vineyards were everywhere, from Palestine to Spain. Sugar started to ferment, and become a little bit alcoholic. The level of a beer, not much, 5 to 7 degrees. That is the level you need. It takes more or less 2 years, and you need that little amount of alcohol to be fermented by the acetic bacteria in the small ones. So from here we move later the product to the set. Sorry?
Why does it move to a smaller barrel?
The product in there.
Yeah, why?
Oh, why?
And I need to explain upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Because you want to concentrate the product. And it is a system that works way better than using a single. Some drops are more than enough if you don't want to kill whatever you have in the dish, because you wouldn't feel anything else. This is so strong. So I said, you got the product downstairs, been aged 2 years, a little bit of alcohol in there. Now it's time to move the product to sets like this. This is made of 5. If you look around, you see the barrels are all organized in 5. And that is the Solera system. So we got the first of a set, or a battery, around 50 to 60 liters. This is 50. The smallest is a 15 to 18. Okay? And we got the product from downstairs. So let me say, here the barrels, they've been working maybe for decades and forever. I mean, when you start the new barrels, you're expecting they've been working for a lot of time. You don't change them unless they're really struggling or they are leaking too much, like that. So that at some point they need to be repaired, if you can. If you can't, maybe you have to change it, but it means that you have to start again. With the barrels, the older the better. They got better and better, being impregnated in vinegar for many, many, many years. Downstairs in mulberry, chestnut, there is a cherry, juniper, acacia, and ash. 7.
I bet cherry would be.
Yeah, oak and cherry are very common, but a kick of juniper, resin, or other stuff are adding more complexity to what? The final bouquet of the product. Because we are making a blend, always. A final blend in there. But to get there, I need to do this. How you do once a year the recapping, refilling the barrels. You start from the smallest, because this is the most important one of the set. And this is a little bit bigger, so I got enough there to refill this. The same goes for that, that, and that. Only the last one gets the younger product from downstairs. This is the beginning, and that is the red. Silver is around 20, and to reach the level requested for a gold, it takes more than 25 years. I'm talking about concentration in sugar and finally the complexity of the product. All the other elements, the final complexity is it's an organoleptic test done by experts. But you can measure for sure the concentration in sugar and acidity.
Lo fresco, eh? Smell it and keep it in your mouth a couple of seconds. Sushi, sashimi, food.
Is it a little bit thicker than
Sì.
That's the end of our trip for the food tour.
Boo-hoo.
Sad.
Sad.
It's so fun. So fun. So, what was your highlight of today?
Eating and drinking. Look at it. Oh, yeah. And drinking.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fatty. I'm fully looking like the machine.
My highlight was the fact that our tour guide Angelo had so much knowledge in every, like, the products that we tried. So he studied history and he's been in the tourism industry for like over 20 years. Got drive. And he's just a really nice guy. I would definitely like recommend everyone to go. If we ever come back, I would. Would you do this again?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Probably not the tour again, but I'll like just check out like, I don't know, the small production, like manufacturing place. My hands. Yeah. So everything we tasted was quite interesting because like, I think growing up we had a certain expectation or perception of what everything tastes like, but when we are here and you're saying, oh, this is DOP standard, like it tastes nothing alike. Like
Yeah.
when we had prosciutto, I had this assumption that prosciutto is a little bit dry and salty, and when we had prosciutto here, freshly cut, it tastes nothing alike. It's actually very it's actually
It's like-
moist. It's not
It's, I
tough
wouldn't say
at all.
moist, but it's juicy in
Yeah, it's in a way juicy, not
Juicy.
too salty, and
and
when we-
fresh. Like
and yeah.
it doesn't really feel or smell that fermented.
Yeah, it doesn't smell funky at all.
Yeah.
Parmesan, like I always grew up thinking Parmesan is just a very salty cheese, but when he shared with us, he's saying that the salt
shouldn't be
content is only probably like 1.5% or something like it's like really low salt quantity, and it's not salty at all. It's actually very sweet, and it's not sharp.
No, I wouldn't say very sweet.
I
It's
thought
sweet. It is a tinge of sweetness, but it's not very sweet.
sweeter than what I've ever tasted in my life, and it's not sharp. It's not like something punchy in your face. And the one we had, like, it's not dry. Like when we were in the markets around Italy, like the Parmesan, like Parmigiano Reggiano that we had, they were quite dry to a certain extent, and it tasted like almost eating the rind of all the cheese. Like when we had the rind, it has a very tough texture, still has some flavor, but not that much. And I
But-
feel like what we got outside is probably like tastes like the
But
rind.
to be fair, like we got the cheese that was like just cut from the whole wheel, and the Parma ham that was just sliced from the ham from the factory.
Yeah.
So that I'm sure that plays a big
Yeah.
difference. Like the ones that we get in store, it's like okay, maybe it's been there a few days, few weeks,
Yeah.
so it tends to maybe dry out, or you don't know how they store it, right?
Yeah.
But when you get it from where it comes from, then you know it's like fresh to the max.
And I guess like the balsamic vinegar, or the traditional balsamic vinegar, it actually tastes like grapes. Like all my life, balsamic vinegar is just like some strange vinegar concoction that's a tad bit sweet, but this time it's a lot more sweet than acidic.
And we learned so much from the tour about how things are made and what it consists of, which is just super fun.
Yeah, and we're loving the Italian kind of culture and way of living more and more, like the rawness and the authenticity and the lack of pretentiousness and the lack of class. Like as in they don't discriminate out of class, right? They appreciate people from all different walks of life. Like the rich or the poor, they go to the same salumeria or the same trattorias and osteria. Like it's just a very genuine like people. Like yeah, great experience here.
Yeah.
Cheerios.
So we are here at a salumineria, that's what they call it. Salumeria, where they sell all the hams and cheese and everything like that, which was recommended by Angelo, the tour guide. We're just here to pick up some stuff. Yeah?
Sera.
The damage done, 50 something euros for meats. Yeah. Now we're going to a supermarket because we love supermarkets. Right, Darren? Yeah. First big supermarket we've been in Italy. It's kind of like a Tesco. Just look at all of this. It's huge. Looking at more stuff to buy. We are at Darren's favorite section, where all the carbs are.
Jenna likes it too. She just likes to mock me.
No. So, we have spent 1.5 hours in the grocery store, and we are still here. Someone's going overboard.
What is for me and your dad though?
This is what we got.
How much is it? 50? or more?
I don't know, a lot.
I guess mine picks up quite a lot.
We are walking to dinner. Well, we parked across a bridge and now we're walking to dinner, which was recommended by Angelo, the tour guide. Here it is, Trattoria Correri. I ordered Parma soup. Darren ordered torta frita, which is just fried pasta.
Okay, but that's their specialty.
And then he ordered a,
Panna cotta.
which is pork shoulder with mash, I think. I'm kind of excited for my soup because it's been really cold out today. And this has vegetables. So comforting, guys. Yum, yum, yum. How's your fita? Fito?
It's okay. It's more like bread.
How's your meat? Underwhelming? What does it taste like? Is it cured? No?
I have no clue.
I think it is cured, but not for too long. And then boiled or grilled or something. Tastes good. So the food here today is really, really simple compared to yesterday's dinner. But it's still as good, I would say.
Good comfort food.
Yeah. So I was telling Darren, like, I think rethinking all my footages of me eating and how my face always goes, this trip is like, I think, like, full of surprises when it comes to food, because I think why my face is like that or why my expression is like that is because I'm just constantly surprised by the flavor and the taste of the food which I thought I knew, which turns out to be like completely different. Got dessert. Last dish of the night is dessert, and it's sort of like a tiramisu.
But it's called Kiss of Parma.
Bacchio di Parma. So it's mascarpone, like tiramisu, and amaranthi with, I don't know if there's liquor or not, and some chocolate. So let's dig in. Not as good as this afternoon's tiramisu. That's like the best by far. Back in the apartment. It's all the stuff that we have to pack, so we're gonna do that and see you guys tomorrow.